Right, speaking fish. When I was at university, I studied liberal arts. My first class on anthropology started with a story about a monkey and a fish. A monkey lived on an island, and one rainy day, it started to flood. So all the animals, they rushed up to the hill for their lives. The monkey was able to climb up a tree, and he was able to save himself. On the next day, the monkey was looking out from the branch, and he saw a fish that was swimming against the current of the river. So the monkey thought, poor thing, I gotta help that fish. So he risked his life, climbed to the edge of the branch, picked up the fish, and brought it to safety. On dry land, the fish was really happy. It was jumping and dancing. And then, after a few moments, it rested and it was sleeping peacefully. So the monkey said, wow, I did such a great job. I was able to rescue this fish from drowning. Listening to this story as UX designers, you know that there's some misconception that the monkey had about the fish. We know that the monkey had sympathy, but it lacked empathy. And as UX designers, that's our strength. So what we've been trying to do is, we've been trying to help the businesses understand the users. That's what we've been trying to do. So today we do a better job compared to the days of yesterday. Just a second, there's a malfunction with my slide. Just give me a second. So we've been working really hard in trying to convince businesses to think more about the users. And yes, we do a better job today than compared to yesterday. But I think there's a lot more that we have to do. There's a few miles that we still have to go until we reach the destination that we need to reach tomorrow. So let's talk about UX and yesterday. For a long time, design was misunderstood. It used to be thought of as the look and feel. And it used to be get mistaken with the word creativity. And that is why designers tend to be lumped together in a department called the creative department. And then the business people, the adults, will have their meeting. They will talk about a problem, the opportunity. They'll come up with a solution. And then they'll say, give it to the designers, let them make it look pretty. So it kind of looked like that. There's a strategy, they come up with a solution, and then sprinkle some magic, and then launch it, right? So that's what it used to be like. So as you can see, designers and design is tacked at the end. It's like an afterthought. So many things have changed today, right? There's a lot of factors that contribute to the change in UX and design today. And I want to talk about three things that I think are the main points that impact. Don Norman, who came up with the title or the term UX design, he wrote a book, The Design of Everyday Things. And he's the first guy who had the title UX design. Back in 1995, User Experience Architect, that was his title. So I think that his contribution has such a huge impact on the world and the design community as well. The fundamental principles that he came up with for interaction design, I think, are still relevant today, and they will be for a very long time. And then the famous Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs talked about design as how things worked rather than what they look like. He always talked about the importance of starting with the users and then making your way backwards to find the solution to help those users. And because of all the great products that he was able to make, he made user experience mainstream. people are starting to expect good experience from all the products that they use, and it became a thing. So he made people aware of user experience. And then, where's Chris? Chris, I'm going to talk about something that he didn't want to talk about. The third thing that happened in the design industry, in the world, was something very, very smart. That was attaching thinking with design, right? So what is smart about this is that it changed the way people think about design. Previously, people used to think about design as feelings, touchy-feeling things. But because of the genius of the people from IDEO who marketed design thinking really, really well, people started to think about design very differently. Because previously it was thought of as magic, they turned it into a process. And a process is relatable. Relatable to the people, the leaders in the information age, people that value logic, process, linear thinking, and computer-like knowledge and ideas. So it made it very relatable to the industry. So Don Norman made design related, impact the designers. Steve Jobs impact users, and IDEO impact the industry. That became a shift in the industry. So if we look at this chart again, yesterday design was tucked in the end, but because of design thinking and because of the way it's accepted by the industry, it became part of a solution. So that's why there's an explosion in roles like UX design in the market. Everyone's looking for UX designer now because of that. So this is really good stuff. We should be very, very happy. But as you can see, perhaps there's a little bit more we have to go in order to impact real change. So the UX of tomorrow. Recap on the previous topic. So yesterday we were at the end. Today we're part of the solution. The next thing is we have to be part of the strategy. Tomorrow we have to get in there because you might have experienced this a lot of times when you get into a project. You're supposed to come up with a solution, but then you're like, I'm not sure of the value proposition, or are we solving the right problems, or the strategy doesn't seem quite right. So the problem is because a lot of businesses and the industry still don't understand design as its true potential. They still think design is a part of creating a solution. UX designers are the people that you pull together to create the solution, not to think about the strategy or define the problem or the opportunity. So UX is about problem solving. And in order to do that, we need to come at the very beginning of the strategy. That's the whole point. So in order to do that, we have to speak business. It is very common for UX designers or designers in general to be very passionate about your design, interaction design, UI animation, research, and all of that. Those are all really, really important. But to be able to affect real change in tomorrow's world, we need to come to the strategy. To do that, we need to be able to talk about our work in terms of how it increases revenue, or how it decreases cost, or how our work has a long positive business impact. We should be talking about return on investment, key performance indicators like KPIs, conversion rates, micro conversions, macro conversions. We were talking about e-commerce before. A lot of people talk about macro conversions, like after the user makes a purchase, but then there's a lot of steps that they have to go through. So that's a micro conversion that people don't normally talk about. And then lifetime value. But I think the most important thing is strategic thinking. These are the skills that I think UX designers will have to develop so that we can lead tomorrow's world, so that we can solve real problems. Coming back to the story of the monkey and the fish. As we try to understand users and try to help business understand users, now we have to understand the business. so that we can solve real problems. Thank you.